Welcome to The Explainer. We are skipping the long preamble today and plunging you straight into the action of a seriously gripping chronological journey. We're heading out to the rugged, storm-battered southern tip of the Isle of Portland in Dorset, England. This is a place where human engineering absolutely collides with the raw, unbridled power of nature. We're going to track the fascinating evolution of the Portland Bill Lighthouses. So, let's jump right in. So, picture this. How exactly do you navigate monstrous waves? To really grasp why a lighthouse was built here in the first place, you kind of have to understand the sheer terror these waters inspired in early mariners. The coast surrounding Portland Bill and the nearby Chesil Beach was just notorious for shipwrecks for centuries. You have the infamous Portland Race, which is caused by the violent meeting of tides right between the Bill and the Shambles sandbank, just a few miles offshore. The currents there break the sea so fiercely that even from the safety of the shore, you can witness this continuous display of monstrous, unbroken waves. For sailors, navigating this treacherous stretch of the English Channel was literally a nightmare. These hazardous waters desperately required a beacon of hope, which led to some very frantic local petitions for a life-saving light. The rapid technological evolution to solve this problem started back in 1716. That's when King George I granted a patent, and two round stone lighthouses, the Old Higher and the Old Lower, were built to act as leading lights, guiding ships safely between that dangerous Portland Race and the Shambles Bank. Initially, they were literally just simple, open coal fires. But by 1752, the legendary lighthouse authority Trinity House took over. And from there, the tech just skyrocketed. In 1789, Thomas Rogers added groundbreaking lens technology, making the lower lighthouse the very first working lighthouse to have its light intensified by lenses. Fast forward to 1869, and both towers were entirely rebuilt to house these colossal first-order fixed optics designed by James Chance. For nearly 200 years, these twin towers stood as the ultimate guardians of the channel. Which brings us to the climax, the iconic 1906 tower. Right around the turn of the 20th century, Trinity House realized those aging twin lighthouses needed a modern successor. The result was this absolutely breathtaking new structure at Bell Point. It was completed in 1905, and it shone its first light in January 1906. This iconic red and white striped tower is exactly the classic image that pops into your head when you think of Portland Bill today. Standing proudly at 41 meters tall, which is about 135 feet, this Grade II listed tower was a true marvel of Victorian and Edwardian engineering. From its lofty height, it cast its famous signature: 4 flashes of light every 20 seconds across the sea. At the time, that light was visible for up to 25 nautical miles. It became the absolute definitive waymark for any ship navigating the perilous English Channel. And hey, if you think the tower itself is massive, wait until you hear about the mechanics working away inside it. The original first-order rotating lens weighed a staggering 3.5 tons. To eliminate friction and let this enormous 4-panel optical system spin smoothly, the entire 3.5-ton lens and its carriage floated, get this, on 3/4 of a ton of liquid mercury. It was just an undeniable engineering marvel for its era. And quite amazingly, this is the exact same lens that gazed out over the water and guided the Titanic as it sailed past, not just once, but twice, during its first sea trials from Belfast down to Southampton. But, of course, a brilliant light is totally useless if it gets swallowed up by thick maritime fog. Enter the diaphone Type F foghorn. Completed as part of that original 1905 build, this fog signal is incredibly special today because it's now one of only 2 air-operated signals left in the entire country. Its unique sound has been perfectly described as a mighty throat clearance. It emits this deeply powerful 3-second blast every 30 seconds. This audible beacon basically ensured that even when the light was completely obscured, mariners knew exactly where those dangerous rocks were hiding. Which brings us to a rather hilarious piece of local history. Back when the foghorn was actively warning ships, tourists who happened to be experiencing it up close were left completely stunned. Former principal lighthouse keeper Larry Walker actually recalled tourist reactions, describing the sound as ear-shattering and resounding. Some visitors claimed the sheer acoustic force made the earth move, caused full-body vibrations, loosened their earwax, and, for some particularly timorous souls, the sudden blast even caused some pretty embarrassing bodily problems. Now, even though the lighthouse was fully automated in 1996, Larry Walker successfully championed the restoration of this historic air-powered foghorn in 2003. So now, it gets to blast every Sunday morning, offering visitors a thrilling, ear-ringing glimpse into the past. Moving into the modern era, guiding modern maritime traffic. While it's super easy to get swept up in the romance of the past, Trinity House's primary duty is, of course, safeguarding today's mariners. So, in 2019, the lighthouse underwent a major modernization project. Remember that magnificent 3.5-ton Victorian lens floating on Mercury? Well, it was painstakingly dismantled and lowered down the side of the 41-meter tower in a way that was remarkably similar to how it was originally hauled up over a century ago. Today, it stands majestically at the base of the tower for visitors to admire up close. Up at the top, Trinity House installed the latest LED technology. These highly efficient, long-lasting LED lanterns require way fewer parts and make maintenance a breeze. Even though the modern range was adjusted down slightly to 18 nautical miles, this tech ensures the Portland Bill Lighthouse remains a totally reliable guardian for decades to come. But wait, I hear you asking, what actually happened to the original 1716 twin lighthouses when the new tower opened up in 1906? Well, they were auctioned off, and they found some amazing second lives. The old Higher Lighthouse was famously purchased in 1923 by pioneer Marie Stopes as a summer residence, and today its cottages serve as beautiful holiday lets. Meanwhile, the old Lower Lighthouse found a totally different scientific calling. In 1961, thanks to the generosity of the Brotherton family and opened by Sir Peter Scott, it became the renowned Portland Bird Observatory. It operates today as a vital field center and hostel, tracking incredible bird and moth migrations all across the English Channel. All right, let's get into some practical tips for your visit. If all this history has you ready to pack your bags, you are in luck. The Trinity House Visitor Center at Portland Bill is fully open to the public, and it is just a phenomenal experience. First off, right near the lighthouse is a spectacular coastal feature you simply have to see, Pulpit Rock. It looks exactly like an open Bible leaning on a pulpit. But the really fascinating part? It's entirely man-made. It's actually a quarrying relic left over from the 1870s when the natural stone arch was cut away by workers at Bill Quarry. Today, it's a super popular spot for photographs and wrasse anglers. But a very strong word of caution here, despite its popularity for thrill seekers doing tombstoning into the water, it remains an incredibly dangerous coastal feature because of the unpredictable tides and submerged rocks. So please, absolutely admire it, but do it safely from the shore. And if you're planning a family visit to the lighthouse itself, there are some very strict, non-negotiable safety rules for climbing that towering 41-meter structure. To ensure everybody's safety on those steep, winding stairs, children have to meet a minimum height requirement of 1.1 meters. Secondly, you must wear sensible footwear, and that means strictly no flip-flops, no sandals, and no loose shoes. Finally, all visitors, kids included, must be physically capable of ascending and descending the staircases completely unaided. So make sure the whole family brings their sturdy walking shoes and plenty of energy for the climb. Which leaves us with one final provocative question. When will you make your journey to this historic beacon? Between the towering history, getting to see that beautifully preserved 3.5-ton Victorian lens up close, and experiencing the exhilarating, interactive Into the Dark zone at the Visitor Center, which actually simulates a stormy sea journey, Portland Bill offers a maritime experience like absolutely no other. I really hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity and given you a deeper appreciation for the massive engineering marvels that tame our wildest waters. So pack those sensible shoes, respect the monstrous waves, and go explore. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep learning.